o'clock. Welcome, folks, to the Rutland Town Select Board meeting, our regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 at 6 o'clock. We have a full board: Kurt Hathaway, Joe DiNardo, Mary Ashcroft, Matt Getty, and Sharon Russell. So please all rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Have in your packet these select board meeting minutes of January 14th. Is there a motion? Okay. Motion's been made to approve. Is it, and Sharon seconded. Yes, yep. I did hear you. I have two proposed amendments. The first is on the first page. Down the bottom, number 4, discuss the purchase of a new police cruiser. We need to identify the out-of-state vendor, who is McGovern Municipal HQ out of Marlborough, Massachusetts. Okay, and they are the Massachusetts state vendor. And then the second is on page 3, way down at the bottom, where we were reviewing the language for Article 17 and 18, the depreciation language. I think we should be a little more specific and say that we removed the words purchase and inserted the words replacement in each. So are you folks okay with those changes? Okay. Then motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes as now amended. Any further amendments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Start these going. All right. Next, board member announcements. Do we have any? Nope, doesn't look like it. Update from the chair. I have a couple of things. I did, just so you know, there's other stuff that goes with being chaired besides the power and the glory, you know. So I did the circle article for the upcoming circle. I did the town report article, and thank you all very much for all of the work you did. You don't really realize it until you go through and read the minutes. We did a ton of stuff. I attended the regional select board meeting last week that was hosted over in West Rutland, and it was called by the Vermont League of Cities and Towns and the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. Mostly it was informal, but we did kind of a roundtable discussion at the end, and a couple of common themes that came up. One is the high cost of everything, especially buildings and equipment. Very small towns struggling to build a fire department, and various towns trying to update their town graders, for example, and their fire trucks. So there was discussion about why aren't we getting together more to fund, for example, a salt shed that would serve 2 or 3 different municipalities instead of all of us trying to go our own ways. So that may be a theme that we hear more. And because somebody had raised the topic and we were discussing it, I raised Joey's question about the Rutland County Dispatch Center, which got immediate positive reaction all over the place. So many towns are experiencing the same thing that we are. And Devin Neary from the Regional Planning Commission said that he would dust off where we dropped the thing a couple of years ago and see where we need to move from there. So thank you, Joe, for mentioning it. That was good. Okay. I met with, we did go to the public service building for an inspection, which was supposed to happen on Monday the 20th, One of the key subs wasn't there, so we rescheduled and it will be Friday, the 31st. So I say we, but it's really for the subs and the contractor. Joey's going to go. And the department heads, yes, please. So everyone, if select board members show up, just remember this is an unwarned meeting, so we cannot make any decisions or discuss town business there. We can walk through and we can observe, but if we hit the quorum number, yeah, which is 3. All right. Okay, and Barbara, Micro, and I visited about the Pocket Park. I suspect Barbara is going to fill us in a little bit more if she's on, or Mike will. And the circle is online if anybody wants to view it. It's got the candidates' information. It's got the some of the information about our budget. So, and town reports will be at the printers, are at the printers. So we get one chance to proof them and then they go out in the mail. So a lot of stuff. Big thanks to Bill and to, I know Kari worked on getting her information into the school officials too. All right, I will be quiet, more or less. Are there questions from the floor or public comments or anyone who wishes to be heard who is not otherwise on the agenda tonight? Yes, ma'am.
I assumed you guys would think that because, you know, first time here. Can I
Okay.
sit instead of stand?
Yes, you may, and please identify yourself.
Yes. So my name is Catherine Alvarez Rios, and I'm bringing to your attention an issue that I noticed because of recent changes in our federal government pertaining to immigration. I have had the great fortune of being surrounded by immigrants for the majority of my life. Their community has helped shape my life and still does. With that being said, I had hoped to find that my town had a fair and impartial policing policy on file. However, to my dismay, I could not locate such policy. This policy needs to be implemented urgently. I understand that there is a majority demographic that is white and citizens here. This does not mean we should ignore protecting the minority. I also understand this may already be a practice with Rutland Town Police. However, this policy really needs to be written down. While the city of Rutland does have a fair and impartial policing policy that you could copy and use as your own, I believe, and the one I would advocate the most for my town to adopt is the Burlington's fair and impartial policing policy, because I think it provides the adequate amount of protection to non-citizens. This policy not only protects your vulnerable population, but also fosters relationships between the community and the police, which, as we know, is very important. I believe this policy will only help solidify and build our community, so I really urge you all to adopt a policy similar to the city of Burlington's. Thank you.
Thank you. We often go to the League of Cities and Towns to see what they have as a model template, and our police chief wishes to be heard.
Legislature has already passed down a fair and impartial policing policy that every department in the state of Vermont has adopted, had to.
Okay.
And they had to make up their own, like Burlington did.
Oh, okay. So we have it.
Policy, it's mandated that we have to do or make up our own. It should be on the website for the academy, as it there.
Yes, so there is one that is mandated by the state, but it does not encompass what Burlington's does. I think
I think the one we have right now is more than enough in my opinion.
Okay. I'm just looking and I don't see it in our town policy book.
It's not in the I mean, I looked online, it's not in the policies that I
Okay. Is there?
It should be on the academy website.
Okay.
State mandated policy.
Yeah. Did we adopt it though? If we were required to?
We had to.
Okay.
I had to sign the papers and give it to the academy and tell them, yes.
Okay. So we should have it in our policy book anyway. We're a non-charter municipality. Burlington has a charter. The rules that apply to them are a little different than the ones that apply to us. But you know, obviously, we can take a look, and I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. I spent a couple of hours on Monday in my other job listening to legal issues surrounding immigrants and asylum seekers. So
you understand that it's important
I
to
understand.
maybe have a more encompassing one.
We'll take a look.
Could you send
Thank
us
you.
in maybe a written comment on what areas you see as the main differences that
Yeah.
you think need to be addressed?
Yeah, I definitely could.
Okay.
Do you just want me to email it to you guys, or how do we?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
You can send it to Bill Sweet, and he will distribute it among the select board.
Of course, I
So-
can do that. I'll just kind of compare and contrast the state one from
That would be
the
great.
Burlington one.
Okay.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Fine, Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mary,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to hear Ed's view on it.
He just spoke about it. He said we adopted the state mandated one. Okay, and there's a difference between what Burlington has because they're a charter city, and apparently they have more protections you feel we should at least take a look at. So
don't you get 'em,
we're
Mary?
going to get the information with the comparison, so we'll see what's there.
That'll generate a police committee meeting and.
Yes. Yes, it will. Yes, it will, because
Well, I mean, that's
personnel
a fair
committee
thing.
is
That's a fair thing to
it's a
do.
fair thing.
Yeah,
It's a
just
fair
look
thing.
And see what's what.
Okay, good. Then you're welcome to stay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else who wishes to be heard who is not otherwise on the agenda? And I'm looking up at the Zoom board. Anybody up there? Okay, we're going to move along then. We do have some folks here from the who are going to present the final draft of the local hazard mitigation plan. So why don't you folks come on up? You too, Marty. Yeah.
Got the wrong thing.
What?
We're not a hazard mitigation plan.
Well, it's,
You know,
I think we gave him his own room too.
Marty's here for support. You're actually
Yes.
really going to present, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But I, go ahead, Marty.
I first want to thank the town when they made the decision to hire the Rutland Regional Planning Commission to do this. We also happen to be very fortunate in the fact that the person that was assigned to us left the RRPC, and we got Stephanie, who has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and she's wonderful to work for.
Stephanie's come in and helped us out before.
I know. I'd like to thank Bill for his input and Dave for his input. So we had a lot from different perspectives as to what we need and where to go. So I want to thank everybody, and I'll let Stephanie take it from here.
Okay.
Thank you, Marty. And I would echo his acknowledgement of the Rutland Town Planning Team because we've reached a critical milestone in the plan update process, and that would not have been possible without all of their hard work. I facilitated a process, but it's really their input that makes your plan what it is. So I feel you have a really solid final draft before you, and that's really thanks to Marty, Dave, and Bill.
Okay, so the next step, we've got the draft. You want us to read it
Yep.
and then adopt it.
Yes, so you have a similar packet, well, not adopted, not quite
Okay.
yet. So
Okay.
you have a similar packet before you that I presented at the midpoint in the plan development process. So you've got kind of this cover page that announces kind of where we're at. So the teams completed their work to update a full final draft. What you had at the midpoint was the risk assessment and hazard identification work, to identify kind of what you thought the highest risks were facing the community in terms of natural hazard impacts. We kind of got the green light after that public comment period to move forward with then to develop a strategy to mitigate those those natural hazard impacts of highest concern. So you now have you have the full plan in front of you.
If I could add something.
Sure.
I just want to add that when we say we've gotten input from the community, we were at the transfer station
Oh, yeah.
and we had we had a board with lots of different things on it. And we asked people to check what was important to them. And then we looked at the whole plan, the whole board, and saw what things were important to the townspeople. So that was done, and it was interesting to listen to them and watch them. And a lot of them had some very good and intuitive things to say that I was able to bring back to the committee meeting.
Good. And you were up there. You were
I was there.
okay. Thank you for doing that. It's a good way to get public input.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the final draft is being shared now. That work is complete by the planning team, and it's something that they're comfortable putting forward to encourage local input from local officials and the public. So this tonight's meeting pretty much kicks off the final public comment period on your plan, which will run through February 11. So I've got some messaging out there today. Bill has some materials to post on social media. And we're really kind of looking to get the word out that the final draft is available for public review. So we're asking for all comments to be emailed to me. I'll assemble those and then bring them back to the planning team to see what needs to be done in response to what, if anything, we receive. And then we will be looking for the board to sign off on the plan and authorize us to submit it to Vermont Emergency Management for what's called preliminary approval or approval pending adoption. So the state gets an opportunity to review your plan, and that they'll be using this review tool that I've included as the third document in your packet to determine, in their opinion, whether your plan contains all the federally required contents. I feel like I have a good working knowledge of what the state reviewers are looking for, but I've never had a plan get approval pending adoption on the first try. I can guarantee you they're going to come back with something that they would like to see finessed in your plan. Usually their comments are things that, I can handle with the planning team pretty easily and they're not a substantive change to the real core trajectory of your plan. Okay. But they'll weigh in, we'll resubmit, and then we'll ask for the board to adopt the plan once we receive the approval pending adoption from Vermont Emergency Management. So I think the key point to make in that process, and I'll repeat this when I come back on February 11, once the town says, yes, go ahead and submit this plan to the state, you can't make any more changes to that plan unless they are required during the review. So anything that you'd like to see changed, now is the time to act. So between now and February 11, we're really looking to get any final feedback from the board, because ultimately you'll be the ones adopting this plan and responsible for its implementation. And in addition to local officials, just the public at large, kind of the whole community.
So I know your email is on 3 pages in from the back, A18. So we should get to you. Oh, it's right there
Right
too.
here. Yep.
Even
Yep.
better.
Yep. Right. Kind of all the
Very good.
punchlines are on this first summary page.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you prefer to look at a digital version of the plan, I encourage you to go to the website that's listed right here. But the plan in general, lays out kind of what is a hazard mitigation plan? What is the purpose of doing this work? What are the attributes of your community that might make you more resilient or vulnerable to natural hazard impacts? Then it documents the whole process that you've gone through. And, Marty touched on just one of the community engagement activities that were done to develop this plan. There's a whole appendix. Appendix 3 is dedicated to outlining the whole engagement strategy. So there was a lot of work done in terms of trying to communicate with the Rutland town community what was being done and provide them with opportunities along the way to react to different parts of the plan. We then dive in section 5 to the hazard identification and risk assessment part, where we outline, what we're concerned about. And that's the work that you reviewed at the last milestone meeting. And then we end pretty much with the hazard mitigation strategy, kind of what is the goal for Rutland Town in terms of mitigation? What kind of community capabilities do you have to undertake this kind of work? And then we go through a very robust review and evaluation of a broad range of possible actions. And from that, we identified ones that we thought the town would find reasonable and practical to try to complete. So that's pretty much the mitigation action plan for implementation. So those are you're going to want to focus on those because those are what you're recommending that you're actually going to try to accomplish over the 5-year life cycle of this plan. Section 7 is where you outline how this plan is going to be maintained. So I'd really draw your attention to the process that's outlined to be evaluating this on an annual basis. And I'd recommend that you consider including this as part of the annual work that you do to update your local emergency management plan. Kind of roll it into the schedule and processes that you already have in place for certain emergency management functions. And then it also provides a process by which you'll make sure that the plan stays updated on its 5-year cycle. So that's the core of the plan. The appendices, there's an adoption certificate is Appendix A, so you can kind of see what it is you'd actually be signing when you get to the point in this process where you're going to adopt the plan. Appendix B outlines what the actions were from 2019 and their current status. And then I've already mentioned Appendix C outlines the public engagement strategy. So there are very few yellow highlighted placeholders left in this plan, and they're primarily in that Appendix C because we haven't finished with the public engagement process. This presentation, followed by the public comment period, will kind of round out that, and I'll be filling in those details as we get closer to wrapping up that work. So any questions on the plan itself? Sound pretty straightforward? So I'd encourage you to kind of read cover to cover and then review the review tool so that you have an understanding of kind of what the federal requirements are for the plan to make sure that you feel confident as well that your plan is hitting all the points. I'll be back on February 11th just to help kind of close out the public comment period, and
We will be back.
Hear firsthand any feedback that you might have regarding the draft and anything that you'd like to see revised before we get ready to, submit for approval pending adoption.
Can you explain the governmental interplay here? You mentioned on the cover sheet, this next step is this goes to the state for approval.
Mhm.
You've also noted here FEMA approval.
Yeah.
This is talking about FEMA requirements.
Sure.
How does FEMA
Absolutely.
play in this?
This is actually, so FEMA is the ultimate authority over local hazard mitigation plans. They have delegated the review responsibility to the state of Vermont. So Vermont Emergency Management had to go through a vetting process in order to be delegated the review authority from FEMA. And so the review gets done entirely at the state level, which is a really good thing because prior to, it's been within the past 6 years that the state received that delegation of authority. And prior to that, the plans had to go to FEMA Region 1 for review, and they could get hung up there for months. And it really was a disadvantage to the communities. So FEMA ultimately will send you an approval letter based on the delegated authority from the state.
So is having the plan a requirement for receiving disaster relief, or what is that FEMA's requiring?
There were different things I think I once presented to you about. There's different levels that we receive funds back after an emergency. and the amount you get is conditional on how much of these different levels you've come through.
So I'll build on that just a tiny bit. So you will, if there's a federally declared disaster, you don't have to have a FEMA approved local hazard mitigation plan to participate in the public assistance program. So on page 1 in the plan where I lay out the purpose for this, I make it really clear that this is really a planning tool. It's not a legally binding agreement between the town and FEMA or anything like that. It articulates a vision for steps you can take to mitigate your risks to natural hazard impacts. What Marty's talking about is described in the community capabilities part of the plan on page 24. So if there's a federally declared disaster, the public assistance program will cover up to 75% of eligible costs related to repairing from damage. That leaves a 25% wedge. If you have this plan in place, the state will kick in an additional percentage towards that 25% match. So there's a diagram on page 24 that I think really articulates the power of getting that little extra percentage of state match that you don't have to pay for locally, because it can be significant in terms of dollars.
All of this could be gone by the time the plan gets adopted, so we better mitigate the hazards in advance.
Well, yeah, maybe outside of our control at this
Be
point, but
Holding my breath for any funding from anywhere.
that's the working theory.
Good, good. Anything else from any select board member? Any questions? We've got reading ahead. And comments to Stephanie. Probably you want them in advance of February 11th, but you'll be here anyway on February 11th in case we want to mention them then.
Right.
Okay.
And that applies to the whole community, right? So we've sent notices out to local officials in neighboring towns, community partners. I've already sent the email to Rutland Town kind of department head contacts, as well as, just putting it out there on regular social media for anybody else who may be interested. So looking to gather any comments back by that date so that we can kind of have a sense of what they might look like at the meeting on the 11th.
Fair enough. Okay. So Bill, if you could make sure this gets added to the agenda for the 11th. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you for coming in and
Sure
for all of your
thing.
good work on this, both you and Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Marty, and our department heads who contributed. Okay,
Details, a lot of work in that.
yeah. a ton of work. Okay, do we have any other? Just go down through. Starting with Ed Dumas, Town Police Chief.
I gave you 3 charts today.
I moved them, which I shouldn't have done.
First one is this one here. That's the month of December. Talking about their calls for service that month.
Okay,
You go to the second page, you can see that Officer Placus has been hammering the sex offender registry violations. Retail thefts looks like they've gone down.
am I looking at the right one? Next page.
This one here? Yes. that's
Oh,
it.
there it is. Okay, wow. Okay,
He's been busy doing that.
okay.
Things have gone down in the south end nicely. Might have to
Yeah,
take a breath of air now.
yes, it proves our theory on both ends.
Yes.
The increase and then the decrease.
Yes.
Yeah,
We weren't wrong in what we were saying.
we were not.
It's-
Thanks to Lynn's hard work and all
Yeah.
the stats that Velcro provided for us, we were able to work out fantastic for us.
So on this chart, the
Yes.
green, this is Rutland Town is like everywhere else in town or? So, but
Yeah, Rutland Town South, Rutland Town is a whole town. Rutland Town, that's the rest of the town, is the rest of the town.
So we would, yeah, I mean, these numbers we would add together for the total number,
Yeah,
right? Not
right.
just.
Any questions on that one? The next chart is this one here. That's the top 10 issues we dealt with in the town for the year fiscal or the year of 2024. This gives you an idea of where what we do.
So how many of each?
It's on the
So-
side.
so
The
it's
numbers
because-
and brackets.
Okay,
70 retail thefts. There's no value complaints. Sex offender registry violations 27. Petty
Okay.
larceny from motor vehicles 18, grand larceny 16, burglaries 15, petty larceny from buildings 14, unlawful mischief 14, unlawful mischief misdemeanor,
okay.
unlawful trespass 14, unlawful mischief 12, violation of conditional release 10.
So no value is our number 2 category, so.
What's that?
No value is number 2, so I'm assuming that's our miscellaneous.
It's
a
probably
bunch of
just,
other
yeah,
things That are,
citizens assist, things of not of,
Okay.
that's that one. Then this one here is one that, Deputy Chief Washburn, he took some time, went through all this here. He went through VSP's, got permission from the lieutenant.
Hmm.
From VSP and not lieutenant, yeah, captain, lieutenant. And Rutland Town's PD and just compared them across the timeframes of when the calls came in for the whole
Wow.
year.
Wow.
Have that breakdown there on the first page.
Wow. So this is when they flip the switch and they start sending the calls through to you,
Correct.
7 o'clock.
so the,
7 is when we sign on. Usually that's when it kicks in. That's just those stats for there. As you go further through, it goes, calls by, it goes by time of day. We get the calls
Mhm.
and it goes by days of week. And surprisingly, we're the busiest on Wednesday, but also it's when most of it, we usually have, during most of the time, we had 3 people working on a Wednesday. So we're able to handle more calls that came in.
how do we sort of reconcile the data between calls and cases? There's a lot more calls than cases. And I notice like on the 3rd page of this packet here.
Third page.
So this is again, top.
This right here goes month, this is January to March, the first page. January to March,
Okay.
this first page.
Oh,
Okay, then the next one
quarter.
is April to June. Because that was, I told you, we couldn't do it for 1 year. We had to break it down in quarters. So that's
Oh.
what Ted did it, so we could get all the data. If we tried to do the whole year in one shot, it wouldn't let us do it. So we had to break it down in quarters. That's how we were able to get all the data.
Wednesday thing is pretty persistent, isn't it?
What's that? Yeah, it is.
Wednesday thing is pretty
Because there are
persistent.
3
Who-
officers on duty and they can answer the calls.
Yeah, we can answer the
So-
calls. There's more of us here. So if something comes in, we're taking everything rather than ESP just taking the old.
So theoretically, it could be as many calls on other days, but
I think even consistently, we're just busier on Wednesdays. If you go to October, December, you see a bunch of handwritten numbers down. These are the numbers that Lynn wrote down as Ted was making sure we had all the things down. It doesn't really mean
Okay.
anything. It just matches the front numbers on this page here.
so I guess so this here is January to March, but these here, I thought you said these were annual. But they
That was
clearly-
the top 10 calls for the year. From what I'm reading on these things here. Top 10 offenses for the year. That's what this is.
Okay.
Not all the calls. This is all the calls. So this is like apples and this is oranges. So
I guess the gist of it though is you're getting a lot of calls that don't become cases. Is that right?
There is cases. These were the top 10 cases from what I'm reading. That's it. The top 10 complaints we had. Or what is this? Top 10 offenses that we had.
Does that include state police as well?
I think these are just ours right here.
Okay.
But these are all the cases right here that we get.
So good information. How are you using it?
So as soon as we move to the new building, we're putting together a new shift schedule for us to start to go to at that point. Now we try to work some more evenings to stretch ourselves out a little during the course of the week. That's our plan. Then I suspect our numbers will increase in the evening hours by quite a bit at that point in time.
And the more hours you are available, that will be the less calls.
BSB takes
PSP
the
is
more
handling,
calls.
So
that we
your
will-
caseload is gonna go up.
Correct.
Doesn't mean that things are getting worse in the town. It's just that we're gonna have more visibility to what's happening.
Correct.
All right. Any questions, comments? Do we have in mind how many cases we think the state police should cover for us, or which hours they should be covering?
When we're not working.
Okay.
You know, that's pretty much. I get it. They're there. I know the guys are on the road doing the job. They're like, well, where's Rutland town? Why can't they do it? Well, because we're not working at this particular time, or they want us to do more and we don't have enough guys working. And the older fellows there that have been around a while, they go, look at, they're doing as much as they can with what they got. And prior to that, you had covered all the calls. So stop. So, I mean, but I get it. When you're on the road and you're working and you wish another agency would take it, I understand. I understand it. But
Is their response time better, worse than our local police department response time?
it probably depends on what the call is.
Okay.
If they have a different, we handle everything, parking lot accidents. We try to handle all the complaints in the town. Where state police says, yeah, we're not handling parking lot. Exchange information, take care of yourself. We'll go the extra step, and because we're a town department and you pay us to take care of people, so
Never turned it off.
and the side has got a sound when he was clicking down it. My kids told me a long time ago how to do that.
So usually it's Mike Rowe who gives you grief, Sharon. Tonight it's the chief,
Somebody has to step
you
in.
know?
And I stick up for you.
Okay. Good stuff.
Did you get the, I don't know if you want to talk about now, the email from Ted on the cruiser and the new numbers and.
I
all
did
the
not.
things?
I was just going through the minutes though. So
A
he,
while ago, right?
Yeah, he sent you a few.
okay.
What's that?
Couple weeks ago, maybe.
No, like, I think it was this week he forwarded
Okay,
out.
then I'm not sure. if I did.
Is that in the packet? Because you folks authorized me to sign. Ted was adjusting.
I think what you asked us for Ted to look into financing through whatever company we
Yes,
could.
yes,
And that's just the
yes.
paperwork on the financing. This was I would have printed every one. I'm sorry, I thought Ted emailed it to you guys, but here's the application and the numbers. The interest rate is, because we're buying from, not from, I guess, a dealer around here, where the interest rate is a bank they use down there, so interest rates are kind of high,
How much?
It's not many years you pick,
right?
but call it 7 plus or minus.
7%?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks. Oops, sorry.
So
Gee, I'm paying 3.99 on my car loan.
And that's for how long?
3 years,
3 years.
yeah, 3 payments. Figured you'd probably want us to look around, or if we could do that, or that's pretty.
So this is financing it through
the bank that the
I'm just gonna
McGovern
go
uses
take
all the
this
time.
call.
So we should, our bank is TD Bank.
Okay,
So we should check with TD Bank and probably one other.
At least you would think our bank would
Yeah,
take, you know,
yeah.
and we pay it off in 3 payments.
3 payments, right after the fiscal year starts, one payment, then same the next year, then the next year.
We're talking 7.53.
Yeah.
3 year.
A little steeper than,
Yeah.
I don't know what the credit union, I think
Credit
yeah.
union, we should look at too. Yeah.
it might be worth it, but I would think that since the town does business with one bank, and I think Kari would be our best resource on this, that,
Yep.
you know, if we wanted to borrow money for them to do this purchase.
Right.
And this is a lease purchase, right? Basically, or is it a straight out
I
purchase?
think it's just a straight out purchase.
But just 3 balloon payments, not monthly.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I'm not going to sign anything until
No,
we get
I just want to bring to your attention.
more
and-
information.
They get, so do we pay the,
Do you guys want to take a quick look?
I remember the numbers, and the interest kind of. I just want to make sure I understand it, that it's 3 payments to the dealership, or do they get all their money up front? and
They
we're
get all their
paying-
money up front and
And we're paying the bank back.
we pay the bank back.
Okay, so it's 3 balloon payments to the bank. So
Correct.
first thing we'll have to find out is TD Bank will even do that.
True.
They might want monthly payments or whatever.
So
I think that's what they call it.
if you could have Ted get that breakdown of three payments to Kari and
Okay.
then ask Kari to check with TD Bank, because,
Okay.
and then anybody else like Heritage Family should be, yeah. That would be, I'm sure we can do better.
I'm sure they can work with the McGoverns and make the payments and do what we have to do. I don't
Oh,
think
sure.
it's a big deal.
Yeah. McGovern doesn't care. They're gonna get paid.
Right.
It's financing this.
And that's to facilitate the appreciation fund, right? Make this work.
Right. Last week we moved we didn't move in, we moved the desk from downstairs, put them in the squad room, assemble them. Looks, I don't know if you've been out there, looks pretty good.
They do. They're big. These are the ones we got for free.
The free ones.
Yeah,
They're-
we like that.
They're
Are they adequate for your needs? Or
They're
more?
more than adequate for the officer's needs. I wish I had one in my office, but it would take up the whole office.
They're big.
I did notice you got the smallest office in that place.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Not
So,
sure how you managed
yeah.
that.
That means you have to
luck of the draw, I
delegate.
guess, I don't know.
Oh, that means you
Yeah, but he
delegate
has a
more
really big
work.
truck to drive around.
Yeah. True.
Me doing more traffic.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, you'll be able to attend Friday's walkthrough inspection.
What time is it anyways?
Well,
It said
we're starting,
8 to
it's 8 to noon, but there, I believe, 2 things that's going on. One is the owner walkthrough with the plumbing is the big one, and those were the folks that couldn't make it.
Right.
So to see where stuff is, and then they're doing the certificate of occupancy inspection at the same day, because that was scheduled for that day. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
gonna be a few hours there going
Yep.
through. Yesterday, they did the punch list with the electrical, plumbing, site people, architect, and I didn't hear anything of any bad. The lighting in that place is overly thought, somebody overthought the lighting. It's what best I can do it. Like the lights outside are supposed to like dim at times and then be brighter, and it's like, you know, they were trying to minimize the impact on the neighbors and stuff,
Oh.
but I thought the lighting package, the way it is and the way it's working is excellent, except for that one sign out front, and nobody's come up with quite the clue what to do with that yet.
Yeah, you need one more light.
Well, it's gonna take
So, you
something
mean
different.
on the
The
what,
front
west
side where it says public safety,
The
that
west side, yeah,
wasn't,
okay.
those lights were never intended to light those letters. They were intended to light the front of the building.
Okay. Yeah,
And that's what they were, and the,
You see pub
yeah, it,
and build. Yeah.
whole different
Ding.
group of
So,
clients.
they have to
That's
figure
all you
something.
see on it.
To some extent, they would almost be better if they were off at night, because then you wouldn't see anything and it wouldn't look like it does. And to change those letters, the way they're fastened to the building, and then get letters similar to what's on the tower, you don't know if the fasteners are gonna, and they adhere to those because it's a metal siding. And their concern is that when they try to pull those standoffs and studs that hold them off, the siding's coming with it. So we have to think about something there, but I don't know too much about that, but.
The architect may have some ideas.
Well, they had an idea of it's like it's an LED, they're 8-foot strips, and it showed and I had some pictures, and we'll have to get them from Ed, that showed the over in Bridgewater, they put them on and it kind of to light up the sign.
Okay.
And that might, the big thing out front is to try to not make anything that's going to be offensive to
Yes,
the
I
neighbors.
agree. Yes.
The lights on the 3 lights out in front of the apparatus bay, the electrical engineer said they were supposed to be on like at 20 or 30% all the time. And then when a vehicle drives in, they come on to 100%. Not sure what that's about, because it's nice if they come on when you guys pull in lights up the front, but most of the areas are pretty well lit. Another thing they talked about the lighting is that when these guys show up they come back from a call and it's at night when the door's open,
Mhm.
the lights come on and there's some wiring through the relays. And JJ was like shaking his head and I was like, what? They're motion sensitive lights in the building. When the door moves, the lights are coming on, whether they're wired or not. And that's just one more thing to go wrong. And I hope I didn't speak out of turn, but I said, I think they'll be fine the way they are. But I don't know why this is so, the lighting is like, they had even talked about the lightings in the apparatus bay being on all the time. And I said,
No.
well, I said, no, they don't need to be on. They're concerned about break-ins or vandalism or whatever. And it's, you drive into that yard and
Architecture will
see,
do that.
personally, I like it better the way it is, because if it's dark and you don't understand the lighting and you drive in there to do something, the lights come on, that's probably the best deterrent. They're leaving.
That's right.
Yeah. And if they break into that building,
Or light up.
the
This-
lights are coming all on.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you can't shut them off.
This electrical engineer has cost us over $250,000 extra.
Yeah.
For this building, and over engineering and wrongful engineering.
And, it's just, and it's very, and this seems to be
Is the architect on top of that? I mean.
well, no, because they have to go with they're not experts in each field. So they just make sure everything is done. And I tried to, and I don't know if the fellow I talked to was the guy that actually designed it, but we had some pretty lengthy discussion. And one of the things that's come up, and we might still talk about it now because it's not a great situation. That building, 3-phase, 600 amp
yeah.
electrical service, 200,000 watt generator parked on the back. The building was designed and engineered and laid out with all the proper wiring to run the fire pump when the power goes out. And the switching mechanism, because it has its own feed from the pole, fire pump has to have a separate feed. And they ran that yesterday or the day before. The fire, and the long and short of it, when the power goes out, Irene,
Mhm.
power down, generator comes on, the fire pump is not energized and it will not run.
They ordered
Switching
the sprinkler control panel got ordered without the transfer switch in it.
without the transfer switch. So
The prints say it needs to be
That
in
ain't
there.
us.
They also ordered a fire pump that will not flow enough to flow for the sprinkler systems in the building, so they have to get a new fire pump because the fire pump's not in there.
right now they're running the sprinkler system will be run off from the truck fill pump, which is what this state allowed us to do to
Okay.
occupy the building.
That's a temporary
Yeah,
measure.
it is.
Okay.
And then when the right fire pump comes, and it is this fire pump for
Or do
this
we
thing-
have an issue over whose responsibility?
Well, this
these
is
are?
one of the, this is one of the things, when we get to paying for the final payment, the money, we have to get this taken out. I don't know who didn't, I'm guessing the sprinkler people didn't get the right controls for the electrician to wire in.
Mhm.
The wiring is there. And the controls need to have its own transfer switch, because it defeats the whole purpose of the fire pump and the system if the generator, and the state said it's okay if it's not running. I said, well, the state might be particularly happy, but I know 5 people that are overseeing this that are not going to allow this to go this way. And I made it pretty clear when I was there Monday that this has got to be resolved.
the other part of this is if it had been engineered from the beginning to not have to get tied to the generator, we would have probably saved about $50,000 in buying a smaller generator.
The generator is actually sized for the load or the coming in, but the load on the building is nowhere near what the service is. It's a 600 amp service.
Yeah.
You could run a foundry,
Yeah,
a machine shop,
huge.
you know.
This station over here, 200 amp service. Like what's in your house?
4.
They put two 200s in there.
That's 4.
I thought they put 2 in there.
Yeah.
Right,
So anyway, we'll have to be on top of this.
Is that
absurd.
something we point out on Friday, or is that something that's already on the list?
I talked with Sean about it.
Okay,
I talked with JJ about it, and it's going to be up to, I think VMS has to square this with their sub.
like that.
I
it sounds
believe
that way
Southern
to me.
Vermont
I
Sprinkler,
don't think we need to. do
right,
anything.
Southern Vermont Sprinkler should be the ones that have to bear some of the brunt of this. They ordered the sprinkler pump and they ordered the controls. And they didn't order the controls that are compatible with what needs to be there. And so even though, like I say, the state has no issue with this. You know,
Well,
as
but
far
they're
as,
not the ones paying the bill.
well,
We
this
are.
is what I said, you know, we've got, you know, a couple of $3 million worth of fire equipment in there.
Yeah.
God knows how much police equipment in there. Now, the building's gonna be, you know, you get some weird mother nature thing and we don't have power for a week.
Yeah,
It's not acceptable to have that building unprotected. So we'll get to the bottom of it, but
Okay.
that's
thank you.
the
very much.
biggest thing that came out of the
Kurt, are
last
you
2
gonna
weeks.
be there Friday?
Yeah, I'll swing up Friday.
Okay, good, thank you. All right,
And then I did talk to JJ about the sewer pump, which is the transfer pump at the pumping station. And so they're working on, I said, you don't need to worry about it, you know, in the cold weather, but as soon as it warms up, we'll figure out a cost. Because I would like them to do the work, run the lines out, run them down, since he is familiar with the building. And he's well on top of it, what needs to be done.
is that an extra or is that part of this?
No,
whole
that
project?
part is on us. That was not anything we asked for in this whole thing. So that'll be
Okay,
because if that sewer pump, transfer pump doesn't work, then the building has
I have
eventually,
some brand new sewer pumps.
well, the thing is, you know, it flows down into that pumping station, state police and a motor vehicle, everything goes in there. Well, if I'm right, Bill, we take care of that, right? That's us. Okay, so, in the event of a long-term outage, that pump doesn't run, your building can't be occupied once that, pumping station's full.
Can we use our generator?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's
So
the thing,
the
yeah.
thing is, but that you have to run the wires from the public safety building down the road to feed it. Right now it's run,
We have to go and have we got a conduit already? under
there's
there, so we
there's
don't have
conduit
to
under
do-
the driveway.
Okay,
I took care of that.
thank you.
Right at the beginning, JP and I got right on that, right at the
You're
beginning.
good.
I explained it out and they ran 2 lines, 2 conduits out there. So we're all good there through the pavement.
Good.
So, but anyway,
Well, thanks for staying on top of
yeah,
this.
that's where we are.
Oh, yeah,
You're done with me, right?
Yeah.
sorry.
Now it's your building, so I want you to know what's
Yeah,
going on.
we did. Yeah, okay.
You and Chris.
Okay, Mike Rowe, Town Rec Director. Does not have a new building.
I have a cold one.
Your
Good
cold
evening, how
start.
are you?
Good evening.
I don't have much. Basketball is kind of winding down. By the time next we meet, we'll almost be done. And that means that that's just closer to cutting grass, which is awesome at this
You
point.
know, it's
after
funny,
this nice
all summer
cold.
long, it's like a pain in the neck and then it goes
It's
through
not
winter,
though,
and
but it's
like,
not
man, I
though.
can't wait to go out and mow. the-
Yeah,
Can't wait
I
to
know.
just be out and
Cut some of that.
do
brush,
stuff. Just be outside, and
get
do
the
stuff in that
garden
regard.
in, and- Yeah,
Exactly. Mary did mention that we met with I'm drawing a blank, Barbara,
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago about the pocket park. To be perfectly honest, I hadn't paid a tremendous amount of attention because it just seemed like it's been going for a long time. But we spent a couple hours on a Wednesday or whatever day it was, going over the final proposal, or not the final proposal, for our initial proposal that we had to put forth for the grant. And we came up with some different ideas at the time that we will look at moving forward. It's a wonderful idea. And hopefully it will get used. once it's constructed. But we did talk about a couple of different making changes or this or that. And when we get to that point, we decided we would talk about it more and
We're-
walk through it.
We're going to apply for the grant. Actually, I thought about this when I was in that meeting with area select board members. And the discussion was around getting grants with so many restrictions. It's actually cheaper to build it without a grant because then you don't have to do so we might be in that position with this.
Yep.
And we can always, apply for the grant if we get it. And the conditions are too onerous, we can say, no. We did that once about 4 years ago on some grant that
Yeah.
we applied for, and we said, no, we're not gonna do it. So we don't want to go into the grant process, with that attitude, but it is something that we need to keep in mind. Anyway, it's an area of town that will be used, I think. The first phases of it will be to kind of a handicapped accessible pathway over to the overlook area, which is basically the old Simons Avenue that went to the bridge abutment and then the bridge. Well, there's no bridge now. So anyway, it's one of those that if we get the grant, it won't cost us a whole lot. And if we don't get the grant, then we can piecemeal it. So there we are.
Yep. Other than that, I don't have anything else unless you guys have something for me. Just hope for warmer weather.
Okay.
Simple.
Anybody have questions for Mike?
All right, cool. Thank you.
Mike, do you want to stick for an executive session on
Yeah,
rec liability issue?
yeah, we could do that.
I don't know if
Whatever
that's
you wanna
something you
do
want
that.
to do now, or maybe we're gonna go through this list quickly because
Yeah,
Dave's on vacation. It's like,
okay.
we don't have to talk about a sewer pipe, maybe, I'm hoping.
I don't know.
No, we're talking.
We already
about
talked about a sewer pump. So.
We're talking about.
He might be there. I'm not sure if he's there or not.
Oh, no.
Okay, so if you can hang for a bit and then if you get ready to go, because you need to be elsewhere, let us know.
Yeah, because I'm still in the middle of it too, but I do want to bring you up to speed just so that
right.
we're aware.
So we'll call Mike back when we go into executive session. Dave Sears, Town Road Commissioner, is he's on vacation.
Boys wanna talk?
Is Ben's there? Is Ben
Ben
gonna
and-
say anything or?
Ben and Chris want to tell us what they did?
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Chris, yeah,
Scrape snow and spread salt.
Yeah, I
okay,
can talk to today's events.
all right, why don't you do that
So
then?
we got BP wastewater back down from Colchester today to try to jet the South Main Street sewer line from the uphill side, because we ended up getting stuck on the downhill side because the bottom of the pipe's rotted, and the jetter nozzle actually dropped out of the pipe and got stuck in there at one point in time.
Oh,
They ended up hooking the pipe to the truck and backing the truck up and ripping the jetter back out because it was a $4,000 nozzle and they kind of wanted that back. So they brought down a pump truck to pump the manhole down, and then we tried to jet from the uphill side, and we got 70 feet out into towards Route 7, which is about 2 feet from the fog line on the east side, and we came up against something hard that they can't get through. And they tried they tried a cutting bit and they tried a piercing bit, and they couldn't get through it. So they seem pretty confident that the pipes collapsed or shifted. There's something that's not right. So we're gonna have to make a meeting next week. Hope we can get Derek on Zoom from VTrans, and
You're gonna have to dig the road up.
yeah, and that's where
This is.
well, everybody else digs up Route 7. I don't see why we
Yeah,
can't. Yeah,
and this is starting to get to the verge of emergency because we're discharging raw sewage out of a manhole lid every single day.
okay,
So we really need to get on this before it becomes more of an issue.
And hopefully the state will be cooperative.
Yeah, so if we could put a meeting together with us and Dave and Derek and Robert Clark. Yeah, I know. If you maybe tell them that this has kind of gone to emergency type got to get something figured out here. That'd be,
I will see what I can do.
yeah, and get that put together for next week so we can keep this moving.
We do have the water sewer funds.
Yeah, we have funding. It's just figuring out what the state's gonna let us do and how we're gonna go about it. So,
Don't tell the state how much we have in the water sewer fund.
yeah,
I mean, the biggest issue is getting, I mean, we may not be able to wait.
Yeah,
This isn't like we may be able to wait for warm weather. This may have to be a cold weather
yeah.
and digging pretty close to, well, 8-9 feet or better
Yeah, I think
Wow.
down,
we started calculating it's 12 to 15 right in that area.
Yeah.
Down.
because it's so, the banks are so low, I know where Route 7 comes up.
We got 130 feet from the downhill side and we made it 70 from the uphill side. And the pipe's like 200, 210 feet long. So there's a very short section that's actually causing a true issue. So emergency, we could dig it up, replace that section of pipe and get it good for the rest of the winter. And
but
then,
you know that I saw the camera when it went in, and boy, I mean, it's teeny opening there.
yeah,
if
the
it-
rest of the pipe now is pretty well open from when we jetted from the downhill side. So it's just that short section that's really grown down
The
now.
whole thing's too small, though, right?
It's too small,
So,
but you're looking at a big construction project to
Yeah.
dig the entire road, and we might not be able to put that together all at once.
Okay,
So
well,
we might have to make a repair for right now.
Or maybe go from the manhole to where the damage is now,
Yeah,
and then try to figure out how to do the rest after, but if we can get that flowing.
so you say downhill side, is that the west side?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the Aspen Dental side.
That's where they changed those couplings to make
Yes.
the straight shot.
took the elbows out, as I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. And I mean, these guys brought down pretty much the best equipment in the industry to try to get through this thing, and it's not happening. So
Okay,
we're kind of out of options.
all right, well, thank you very much for overseeing that.
Yep.
Okay, Marcia Chioffi, Town Head Lister.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Marcia.
Couple things tonight. We have sent off to Christy Wright our request for proposal for appraisal services for the townwide reappraisal. She has sent back to us some suggestions on our bid proposal, which Marie and I will be getting together to look it over. But other than that, the only other thing I have is Bill gave me the contract for the CAI mapping, which I have no problem with. It's pretty much standard.
All right, this is tax map maintenance proposal for the town of Rutland.
Right.
It's from CAI Technologies, Littleton, New Hampshire. This is proposal, let's see, $3,100 for the map GIS maintenance services under this contract. And then additional $20 per building added or changed. And is this what we paid last year as well?
I believe it's about the same.
Okay, yeah,
We have budgeted.
yep. And
Yeah.
we've budgeted for it. So is there a motion from anyone?
Approve.
Motion's been made to approve the contract with BAI. Is there a second?
Second.
2 seconds. All right, discussion.
we all have to sign it. It's only 4 slots.
That's okay. I'll sign at the very bottom. It's nice to have. So if all are in favor, please say aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. And anyone opposed? No. Motion carries. And I'm going to sign at the bottom.
You just don't want your name first for once.
You got it. It's reverse alphabetical order today.
It's not going to change anything.
Okay,
So as I stated earlier, we have submitted our request for proposal for the appraisal services for the town of Rutland. We we did speak with Christie, our district advisor, and there were only a very few areas that she suggested that we make some approval. Other than that, we're just about ready to go. Even though we didn't get our, letter, we won't get our letter until July of this year.
and Marcia, didn't you send us around? Yes, you did. You sent us around and Bill shared it with us. The CAI information, the
Correct.
two,
Yes,
okay, yeah.
Yep.
So, and so if you have any questions of Marcia, you can ask her about that as well.
There is an updated, if you saw it in your packet.
I did see it.
There was an error in our calculation and they sent us an updated sheet.
Because they
Right,
left off
yep.
personal property.
Like that. Oh, boy.
yeah, this is personal property is actually going to be handled by our office, all of it.
Yep.
Which is going to be, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, okay, thank you. This goes in the. Okay. Good. Any questions for Marcia about the letter that was in our packet? Property valuation and review. Thank you for that. I appreciate
You're welcome.
being kept informed on this. This is good. All right. Anything else for us, Marcia?
No, I guess not.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
we'll move on to Chris Clark, Town Fire Chief.
Good evening.
Hi, Chris.
A couple things tonight. You should have an application for a new member to sign. He's a senior in high school, town resident. We met with him a couple weeks ago, and he'll be a good fit. So if you guys could approve that, that'd be good.
Hi, this is Clyde Pelkey.
Yep.
And is he's a full firefighter, he's not a junior firefighter, correct?
I'm not sure if he's 18 quite yet or not. I can't remember when his birthday is.
March 2007. Not yet? Okay,
Just short.
okay, soon, all right. So is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Motion is made and seconded to approve. Mr. Pelkey is a firefighter. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Sharon's aye. None opposed, so we'll go ahead and sign. All of us. I'm going to sign at the bottom again because that was really fun last time. Go. Okay, Chris, are you going to be able to join us on Friday for the walkthrough?
Yes, I will be there.
Thank you very much, and thanks for coming too. To all of the, department heads and their deputies and assistants, because there was a holiday that we were all there on Monday, but it was a good showing nonetheless. So we'll get this thing close to done. Yes.
Perfect. My second thing is, I told you a couple weeks ago that our new pickup came with the wrong rack on the back of it. So they're coming
Yes.
Monday to put the new one on and take the old one off. So we will be sending a check with the guy that is coming to do the work. So just to let you know, there'll be a check going out of the depreciation fund for the pickup.
Okay, I think we approved that at the last meeting, didn't we?
I believe so, yeah.
And,
Uh,
and we,
What's
do we
that?
get to keep the rack, the old rack?
I doubt it.
Yeah, well,
If it was any good, we would have kept it on there, so.
yeah. All right.
My
Anything
third
else?
thing.
Yep.
I don't know how many months ago it was when you guys approved to buy a couple things for the new building. I handed in a list and have not seen anything of it. So just for example, like we need a set of rolling stairs to get upstairs to that mezzanine.
Yeah,
We asked for an AED, a hazmat cabinet, and some of this I bought already out of our own budget just so it would get here. So I didn't know if I could give the list back to Billy, or he could order the rest of it for me, or well, how do you want to do it? I mean, it was approved to come out of the capital improvements, but I've been buying a couple things out of our fire budget just so it would get here on time.
I know you need, I'm not questioning the need here. I was looking for the list. We've got the extractor vent, we've got the signs with VMS, we've got the washer dryer. We did have a lump of $31,200 in additional items needed for inside the building. Was that were those things you mentioned part of that?
I believe so. I don't think the 32,000 was for the whole or all for fire. Our stuff is kind of small, like some office chairs for the two offices and the stairs to get upstairs. The 2 computers I already bought. The metal cabinet for like paint and stuff like that, I already bought. A couple file cabinets I did not buy yet.
Well, you're gonna need those.
I can write up a new list if you guys approve Billy to order it for me. We can get it done.
Yep.
Okay,
That's probably the best thing to do, Chris.
Yeah.
Get that stuff coming.
yes, please. I'm going through and nothing is standing out like you've described, so I think it's in one of the lump sums.
I think it was.
Yeah. Okay, so please do, and which ones do you want to get ordered?
I'd like to get the office chairs ordered, the file cabinets, the rolling stairs,
Get the stairs.
the AED, but I remember some talk about the AEDs. I know, I don't know if
Grant.
Dave needed one or Mike needed one, but you guys were or the town was gonna get a couple. I don't know if that was already ordered or not.
Did we get those already?
Station or no?
No, one was for Mike and one was for Dave.
Okay.
Okay,
I guess we need to get another one coming
yes,
up
we do.
with a box.
Okay.
Yes,
So
with a box.
AED, rolling stairs, file cabinets and chairs. Estimated cost?
I have no idea.
Back in your notes somewhere, right, Chris?
Yeah. I don't think it could be that too expensive.
I think we've improved the
Famous
fund,
last
but
words.
it was a bunch of stuff. I remember doing that.
Yeah, well, let's just say for the sake of my record keeping here, the 31, that those items may be purchased out of what we had set aside as the 31,000.
Yeah,
I think it probably
I
was.
think that's where it came from. There's like 20 something thousand for the police, and then there's, I don't know, 8 or 10 or something for fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on that
Right.
list is that Cascade, so you might be a little short on your numbers, but
I think
That was not part of the 31.
That was a
That's true.
standalone item.
Yeah.
but
Less stairs, rolling stairs.
You got a list of what he needs.
Okay, is that a motion then? Rolling stairs, office chairs.
I think we already moved on it, didn't we?
Yeah,
Back
I
when we
thought,
moved
sorry, I wasn't
30,000.
paying attention. All right,
Yeah, I
Back
think,
when we moved for the 30,000, I think we
yeah,
okay.
we
I
voted.
think we just need to
It just didn't get ordered because it was like,
All right.
when do we need it?
Well,
When do
let's be clear and let's just make a motion to say that this is coming out of the 31. Okay, motion's made.
Second.
Rolling stairs, office chairs, rhymes,
So-
file cabinets,
Yeah, that hazmat
and
cabinet. no.
AED,
You know, there's a few items.
hazmat cabinet.
What else have you already purchased, Chris?
I bought, let's see, I bought 2 computers. I bought a metal cabinet, not the hazmat one, one just for like paint, not for gasoline and stuff.
Okay. That red one that's in there,
That's
that's the hazmat one, right?
That's for like paint, and we're gonna put like the
Yeah.
def fluid in it. And
Okay, yep. I saw that one yesterday.
Okay, so motion's been made to get the rolling stairs for the mezzanine, the office chairs, the file cabinet, the AED, the hazmat cabinet out of the 32 some odd that we had set aside. Okay,
Yeah, because some of that'll be
go ahead and
reimbursed.
order it. So motion's made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. 5-0. So go ahead and order.
Yeah, and Chris, when you bill that stuff you bought from your budget, you could code that to the capital improvement fund.
okay, I'll do that when I get the bill.
Yep.
That way it doesn't ding your budget lines.
Yep, perfect.
Unless you want it to. Yeah, actually, if this was stuff he needed anyway,
It's all stuff that was on the list. Like,
Yeah.
just
it's true.
It's just-
nobody ever did anything with the list.
We're in some respect kind of the same as,
You're right.
you know, we know what we needed, just like these companies and subs all noted, but it's like, okay, who's ordering it? And then we find out, oh crap, nobody got it. So
We're
We're
it
good.
does say approximately 33,000 in remaining costs for the outfitting the interior. So that's what we just took the money out of. I kept saying 31, but.
Yeah, it's
25.
just like the kitchen appliances that nobody ordered.
Where are we on that, by the way?
Oh,
I think.
glad you brought that up. I forgot.
I have a feeling I'm not glad.
Well, there's a couple things. We went down to used to be Home and Farm there at the end of McKinley. I can't Rutland Appliance and maybe it is. And Dell asked them to go up and measure because we found out that this room has to be handicap accessible.
Yep.
So which means the dishwasher is shorter, which means we haven't found anything yet. But there's a little question with the stove. One set of prints says it has to be handicapped, so it's like a drop-in stove. There's no oven, so you can wheel your chair under it.
Mhm.
And the other set of plans says it's a regular oven. So the way the counters were put on, it is for a regular oven. So we're not sure which one it has to be. And I think
that's an architect question.
Yeah, so we'll have to ask on Friday, but as of right this
Okay.
second, we haven't ordered any appliances yet. Dell and I were there last night putting some shelves together, and we remeasured everything, and he was going to try to go talk to them again today. I haven't spoken with him today to see if he made it that far yet, but right
Okay.
now there's no appliances.
All right, so you'll bring it up Friday, not that they have to buy them and install them, because I don't think that was part of it, but that they have to make sure we know whether it's handicapped accessible stovetop or whether we can do a traditional stove and oven.
Right.
34 instead of 36. They're lower.
Shorter.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was talking with Gary yesterday about that.
okay,
Stuff's, for the most part, I believe, Chris, stuff's available, but you're not gonna find it somewhere. It'll all have to be ordered.
Yeah.
Very
Right.
few places stock that stuff.
okay. So to avoid having to,
We should really figure out if that was part of the bid or not too, because we knew it had a kitchen in it from the beginning.
we did.
I don't know if VMS is supposed to track down the appliances or not.
That would be something we should
Let's-
look into.
Before or after we authorize the purchase.
Well, they gotta be ordered.
Yeah.
When I was
get 'em
talking to
something.
Gary, he asked if I knew where they were. And I'm like,
Oh,
first I'm hearing of it. So I'm assuming they had nothing to do with appliances, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so we need to figure out whether, and then that was kind of my question early on. Has somebody already, is somebody responsible for them on the VMS side and have they already ordered them? But if Gary's asking, it sounds like the answer is no, at least in their mind.
They haven't ordered them, but I don't know who was supposed to be responsible for them. I'm not sure how detailed that whole original description and content, so.
Well, we can ask Friday. I won't order anything until we talk to them on Friday.
And
Okay,
that's
thank
not
you.
going to affect whether you guys can move in or
No,
not.
no.
Right. Oh, that's another question I have. If everything passes with the state on Friday, can we put the trucks and our gear in there Friday night or over the weekend, or is it still theirs until they say?
According to what I understood yesterday when I talked with Gary, is that if the state okays this with their inspection and the certificate of occupancy is issued, you guys will have the, I don't know what this formal thing with the keys, but I'll end up with the keys and you'll end up with the keys in the building, George, and you can move in.
Well,
Okay.
except we then need to alert League of Cities and Towns that we're doing it. So we absolutely need to know and let our are you going to be at the walkthrough as well?
We should know by noon or thereabout.
Okay, so if Bill will be responsible for at least alerting League of Cities and Towns.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We want to make
but
sure.
That
we're-
was my understanding from
And
him.
this is not an indication that everything is fine. This is only the, yes, you can move in and we'll figure out, the punch list, we'll get the punch.
There'll be
And
some-
who knows, there'll be other stuff once people are actually in there working. So, yeah.
There'll be things that are gonna come
Yeah.
up. One of the things I identified was in the apparatus bay covers, because it's a wet location, they're all GFI outlets, but there was a discussion as to what type of covers to put on them. Whether they're in-use covers, which are different than just weatherproof covers. So like if they had something they needed plugged in the apparatus bay, you'd have an in-use cover, and I think that's what they're gonna do, but those were things that were pointed out, so they were just waiting for the electrical inspector to say, okay, this is
Okay.
what you gotta do.
Okay,
There was a bunch of painting I noticed that still had to be touched up here and there too. Yeah.
there's the outside door, which had holes drilled in it, but nothing attached to it. I think
That's
that
a
was the punch code
lock set.
lock, yeah.
I think the fire department entry keypads, touchpads are on, and they're using a pass key for now. And then I believe we have to program them in. I think that'll be,
They use locks that we've never used before, so I don't know how to program those.
Okay.
Really? We didn't get the same locks.
Are they outdoor locks?
I tried to get that question answered about a year ago and was not able to find out. And the locks they used aren't even the same company that we use to keep for everybody else. So
Because that's all one computer system for.
Right.
it is right now.
So that may be a good,
Not gonna be.
Outdoor locks, we need to
Yeah, I
ask
don't
about
know.
that.
how that slipped
Our
through the cracks.
architect's gonna be there, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Like, these are really simple questions that
one would think.
should have been answered.
Yes, but these are also very small details and
But-
they might not have been in some of the specs.
We have a
early
clerk
on.
of the works for.
Well, part of that job is to oversee that the building is built the way it was designed, not to come up with the designs. So in the process of designing the building, and we did this with Center, was to specifically identify what we wanted for that door, how the things are going to be, the lock sets that we got, plus using the ones from the other station. We bought the original ones
Mhm.
and they were internal door
Mhm.
lock sets.
Mhm.
And we used them on the outside and they didn't work. So we moved those to the inside and made sure the outside ones were the right ones. So if it wasn't specified in that design of the building and the concept of designing the building, then it was left to the contractor. You're gonna have the, it just says coded or keypad, but not, we had to specify exactly what we have. The ones on this building, the one on the fire, because that was this whole rigmarole we went through before. About 3 or 4 years ago to get everybody on the same page. I believe highway,
I think
town
it was-
office
I
and
think it
center.
was 7-8 years
Highway's
ago
next.
now.
Huh?
Highway's next.
Yeah, I think it
Highway's
was seven,
next?
7,
They
8
don't
years
have
ago
the same
now.
one as the other two yet?
No.
Okay, but we were trying to get everybody with the same lock set, buying them all usually through Royals. And they take the same computer program and it's easy. So you have that and you just go in and you talk to it and in 2 minutes, everybody's in there. So there's something we'll have
Yeah,
to,
because when you change firefighter passcodes, you just take the computer to center, download them, take it over to McKinley, download them, and you're all done. Instead of having to manually punch them in on this system and then manually punch them all in on this system. And we have 30 firefighters, so it's a lot of passcodes.
so we have identified the proper lock sets that we need, right?
I know what we've been using, yeah.
Yeah, I just hope they fit the doors.
That's
Yeah, now that,
a
yeah,
totally different question, yeah.
yeah, we'll get it resolved.
All right. Is JP attending Friday?
No, he won't be there.
Is he on the call today?
No,
No?
I think he's just kind of left this to me.
Well, that's part of the question.
JP's in the sand,
So do we need
clearly.
to disauthorize him and authorize you as our clerk of the works from here on in?
I can be. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'll,
You're
I-
on top of things. Is there a
Well, you're
motion?
Here and available, so
Chris, you
Yes.
still on? You want to be clerk of the works of this thing? You know the inside and outs.
Do
Chris
I?
would be-
Yeah.
just to finish up stuff. I mean, I'll do stuff with you, but
At your chief salary.
I can help out. Dell's been doing a ton of work there, so I can.
Okay.
Ask
So
him.
let's deputize the both of them to
Which both? You've got 3 people now.
Chris and Dell.
Okay.
What?
What?
What, can you just review what precisely is happening Friday and what needs to be, what the clerk of the works needs to do at
So
this point?
the Friday's the inspection by the Department of Fire Safety for the certificate of occupancy.
and what they're
Plus
gonna be
the
there.
plus the education of the chiefs
Sorry.
Yeah.
and the owners of the building as to the systems within the building.
Mhm.
So there's a 2-part,
So it's gonna go from 8 until 12?
that's right.
Okay,
And it's a kind of a 2-part thing. That original lock, that original 20th, what we were supposed to do. The biggest system in that building is the plumbing, and the plumber couldn't be there. And,
On the 20th.
but they're gonna be there to point out to Ed and Ted and anybody from the PD and Chris and Dell and Mike and anybody else that's there. and
okay,
those of
but
us that
I
want-
still think we need to have a clerk of the works. And my motion is that Joey becomes the clerk of the works because Chris has got his hands full. And if they all can feed into one person, then we're better off. If you get,
I think Chris and Dell have been there almost every day, putting in work on this, keeping
Okay.
things straight. They've
So
been
then
working
what
with
are
the
you
project
saying?
manager. They've been working with the project manager,
Okay.
make sure things are squared away. I mean, they've been doing it. So
do you think they should be the clerk of the works?
I believe they're more than capable.
I feel like we need to have one
I-
person who's gonna.
Chris has a lot of building experience in his present and past lives with different size buildings, whether it's commercial to residential. It's well within its purview to keep track of things. If he's willing to do it, of course.
I agree, one person. Yeah,
Yeah,
because right now it's sort of like all over the place.
And
Where the potential is there.
Yeah.
So is there a motion somewhere?
It
I
just
made
be-
the motion.
You did for Joey.
Yep.
Is there a second to,
I don't care which one. I mean, I just assume.
I second it.
Wait, Chris, what would your wish be?
Joey's got more time than I do, and if Dell and I are still allowed to go
Okay,
there every
so
day.
I stand
Well,
with
yeah,
my
those guys will be in there. I mean,
motion
they're gonna
with
be part of
Joey.
everything that goes on.
all right, so motion's been made
I'll second the motion.
for Joe, made by Sharon, seconded by Matt. Okay, discussion? If not, all in favor of Joe DiNardo as our new clerk of the works, please say aye.
I-
Aye.
I'll
Motion
abstain.
Motion carried.
I'll vote no.
Motion carries
Yeah, you might want to
four
nay on that
zero
one for the
with one
record.
Abstention, okay, fair enough. And having reviewed the ethics thing, that was appropriate on your part to do.
The-
Don't bring your shotgun up my driveway. I
No, no,
can see it
I've been
coming.
kind of doing it,
Yes, you
Karen. I don't
have.
mind. Basically, the
Thank
job
you,
left
Joe.
now is just to communicate between VMS and the board. And it's kind of keep it to one person so everybody
Yes.
doesn't go run into them.
Yes.
They're
Right, so
pretty
if they
familiar
can
with
all
me.
go to you, if there's an issue.
In anything the fire department or the police find there they need, I get to be the intermediary and we'll get it taken care of.
Good.
I was not aware, and I don't know if anybody even thought about the door locks to make sure they match the rest of them.
Well, the last time at the other station, they screwed up the
Yes,
locks,
they
from what
did.
I understand.
Yeah.
You had outdoor locks.
I think part of that was on us, what we wanted, and when Royals, or no, it wasn't Royals that did those, it was Molten Glass provided them the other time. Huh?
Countryside did it.
Countryside, with the countryside, they weren't sure what we wanted, but I think we were, but we've got through these.
I think along this process, we've had a lot of questions asked and none answered by our clerk of the works. And that's what kind of led us to some of these issues. Is
Mhm.
we had people asking over and over again what these issues are, and they were
Mhm.
never getting transferred over to VMS to get responses back.
I agree.
We'll get through the rest of this and
All right, so that also takes care of public safety building update, unless there's anything else on that. I think that,
we beat it around twice now tonight, so we're good.
and
Good-
Chris,
good until
anything
next
more
meeting.
for Chris, or can we let him go
He
and
might
put
have some
Kari
more
in his
for us.
place? Yeah,
I'm all set.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kari Clark, Town Clerk and Treasurer.
Good night. How are you? Oh, goodness.
Oh, we're good.
All right. So a good segue, I guess, into my portion of reporting out. I have very short things other than what's in front of you. Just wanted to give each one of you the numbers up to this point for the public safety building. The first page, and this is a side note, Mary, I handed your page to you, and Kurt, I
Yes.
handed your page to you, so I hope you brought them because I just gave you the second page. But the rest of you have both pages, 1 and 2. But the first page is the page that's going in the town report because that is the it goes to the end of the fiscal year. And then on the second page is the amount of money we spent to date minus what's in the orders today. And then what the projection will be, knowing the things that we know. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns right now as far as what needs to be purchased for the inside, but knowing like certain, we know VMS has a balance and we know that we're paying the interest on the bond and we know what we've already paid out from July 1st to here. So those are some numbers for you. So just take a look at those.
Kari, I did
Yeah.
have one, and that's, I know as the ARPA funds were sitting, they earned a big chunk of interest. Where is that interest reflected?
In the ARPA funds, we used it all.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is the
I figured
total.
we'd used it.
Yep,
So
that's the
it's-
total.
Okay, the 1,253,000, that includes all of
The
the interest.
interest. Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask some questions?
Yep, and Matt's got a few questions.
Okay, so
Okay.
the first page seems straightforward. So then on the top of the second page, what is that telling us there?
So the little chunk of calculations there is what we are what we've paid out to January. Like so we have the amount of money. So the 3.2 and the 1.4 in those 3 figures there, those match your page in the the first page. So the 1.4 is your federal funds that we do not have to pay back. And the 3.2 is essentially past money and future money that would be like what we've given the town in our taxes. Not that we have to shell out. It's just that's on the taxpayer. The
Okay.
So that's like
821,
local share. That's like local shares.
yeah, like that,
So-
ultimately came out of each one of our pockets at some point, whether it was in the past and it got swept over to capital improvements, or it's coming out in future, or like this current year.
Okay,
The
but-
821 is what we've already paid for any expenses July 1st until the 23rd of January. So that total right there is how much we've spent on that building currently. The second group of figures on that second page is what we know, what we've already spent and what we're going to spend on this building. So the projection is, from everything that we know and what we've already spent, that figure 6.6 is what the least amount of money that we are going to be spending on this project to the completion.
I'm still very confused.
So,
The
but
3
that,
point, I
go
think
ahead.
where I'm really struggling is the 3.2 million. So at the top of the second page, well, first of all, the number appears on the first page as taxpayer burden. But on the top of the second page, it's labeled as 63024 LTD taxpayer.
Taxpayer
And you-
burden life to date.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said it included both the past and a future projection.
Mhm. And then, so what are you confused about? Because those figures match the beginning page. So basically you're
Okay,
taking
well, most,
your figures until June and adding what we've spent already from July to now to that figure. So that's all it's doing. Is it's
Yeah, this
taking
is-
the total 4.644 and adding 821 to it.
Okay. All right. Um,
So
all right, so then in the last one, you're just projecting the VMS remainder and the bond interest.
Yep.
To add on to it.
Yep.
And the bond interest, yeah, which,
I mean, even what I was trying to get to on this is where we're gonna be for construction costs on this project.
Mhm.
So if we subtract the future bond interest out, we're gonna
Yes.
be $6,229,652.98 construction cost.
not all of it, because some of the interior stuff is not really construction costs, like the stove and the refrigerator. So,
Construction costs. Yeah, it's the total cost of the building.
it's the
to
total cost of the project. I agree
Yes.
with that, but it's not part of the construction because it's just
No, but
fixtures that were added to.
what I'm getting at is
Okay.
is we're trying to compare to what the taxpayers are paying
Mhm.
for this building, and that's what they're paying 6.3 plus interest on top of that even. So we're that 6.2229 is what our cost of this building is going to be to the taxpayers.
Total project.
Yeah,
All right.
which would be your what you would have on a ballot as your not to exceed type number.
Again, I would subtract out some of the interior stuff that apparently was never part of.
And if it was never part of it, then it's not
Right.
even in this number yet. If it hasn't been ordered.
Oh, no, some of these things, I think some of these things were not part of it, but we ordered and we've put them in.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
should have been ordered.
I'm
And we're part
not
of it.
disagreeing on that part. I'm not.
The point is, we're well over 6 million into this thing.
Yes.
I just wanted to get that as we we're reviewing numbers. I wanted to make sure we got that number out there.
Okay. And yes.
Yep.
What's the next step? What do you propose?
There is no next step. It's just
Okay.
ouchies is the next step.
Yes, it is. Keeping in mind, this is not, I mean, yes, the interest is future payments, but
Mhm.
the interest was never included as cost to, not to exceed, because we knew we were bonding. So you got to back the interest
That's why I
up.
backed that out.
Yes,
So
and
we're
I'm
at
glad you did that.
6.2.
And then some
We
of the
never actually
capital-
had a not to succeed in the ballot anyway.
Yes.
But I'm just trying to put this into perspective.
I
for
think
the
that's
voters,
fair. I think
so
that's
that
fair.
They know where we're at with this project.
But the other part of it is we had already set aside some of this money.
yeah.
Yes, I mean, we spent it,
Yeah.
but the cost in the future to taxpayers is not the whole projected cost because we already paid. quite a
No,
bit
I'm
of
not
it.
saying
Okay.
that. But I want a number on the table. So when somebody comes up to us
Okay.
as selectmen and say, how much do we have into this?
Yep.
We have a number that we can give them.
That's what we think
Because
minus the,
I've
yeah.
had quite a few people come up and ask me how much money
What's
do
the
we have
cost?
into this, and I give them, I don't know,
yeah, no.
and
well,
I
this
don't like
is-
I don't
this
like
is good
doing
stuff.
that.
This is good stuff. Okay,
Well, thank you, Kari, for putting that second sheet
Yes.
together this afternoon for me.
yeah,
You're welcome. So
Okay.
aside from that, just very quick things. You have a liquor license in front of you for, it
yes,
says Sandry, but really it's Sunoco, the one that Chuck was in charge of on. So
remember that.
they're asking for their approval. It's just a renewal.
This is one we can all sign. This is for, it's tobacco substitute endorsement and tobacco license. And this is for Sunoco Route 7 South. Is there a motion? Oh, and this is, and we're all okay according to the chief. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, aye. Okay, we're all good. And we
Great.
can all sign.
And I sent so yesterday was the deadline for anyone that wanted to be on our town meeting ballot. So I waited and I put in the draft into our company to make the ballot today. So that should be ready soon, and then I'll have to order it. It's always a crunch time during this time because they don't give us very much time with deadlines to get absentee ballots out, especially if people want them down in Florida. But we'll try our best. The town meeting is on the 4th of March. It's a Tuesday, and it starts the night before with a discussion about each budget. So if you can make it, that would be great. I will put a warning out there by Friday. I have to have that hung up. So that was just a quick reminder that that's coming up. And then the last thing is I was made aware that our dog registration rates are increasing, or they did increase January 1st, but not by much. We're very reasonable. So it went from a dog that's been fixed on time. It was $9. It's now 11. Still not too bad at all. And if the dog is not fixed and it's on time before April 1st, it's 13. It was 11. So it just went up a couple dollars. Not a huge deal.
And that was the state, right? That wasn't us.
Yeah, that's the state. That wasn't us. You're correct. So just another public service reminder to get your dogs registered. If you're listening to this, again, I'm still at very, very low numbers, and I know there's more dogs out there than that. So I did have a conversation it was an informal conversation that maybe we can have further down the road. Maybe there should be some repercussions. I'm not sure how the law works. And again, I had an informal conversation, so I'd rather talk to the right people and maybe we can get those people in and registered as needed. But that's all I had tonight.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you very much for all of your work putting the town report together and for these numbers too on the public safety building. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
On the dog license, did I have this conversation with you or was with somebody else about the carrot approach you have? If people aren't registering their dogs because they can't afford the rabies vaccine, the possibility of having a free rabies clinic, to have a vet come in and the town possibly pay for the cost of the vaccine and get the dogs taken care of that way. Was that anything somebody here mentioned it, or was that from the regional select board meeting too? It might have been the latter.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard of it.
Okay, all right, just a thought.
Yeah.
Just town dogs.
Town dogs, yes, yeah, yeah. Okay, anything else for Kari? Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You
Yep.
too. Okay. Mike, I don't think is on. Mike Delehanty. Okay. John Paul Faignant is not on. Barbara Noyes Pulling. There she is. Yay.
Yay. Good
My
evening.
homework done, so I can face you now.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah,
You're
so the Regional Planning Commission and the Town Planning Commission are hard at work on the final application for the Recreational Trails Program. Even though this is federal money coming through the Federal Highway Commission, and it is facing the federal freeze, Forest Parks and Rec wants to go through the process. The deadline for applications is Friday. It wants to keep that deadline. It wants to keep up the process it's set up for reviewing those and making decisions, and essentially not losing any time because they think this may be temporary. So in the application process, we're pushing the $50,000 limit for things that are included in the application. And that $50,000 plus some in-kind will get us 3 trails. Will improve the trail going to the overlook from the parking lot and improve the parking lot. Will improve the fishing access trail that goes down right to the falls, and we'll add a trail in the woods. We'll add some picnic tables. There'll be a kiosk. There will be up to three historical signs, and those will be the ones that are laminated and slanted and metal posts in the ground. So there should be plenty of room for information and photos on those. The $50,000 will pay for a landscape person to come in and pick out all the invasives and the trail construction. And there'll be some picnic areas along the trails and the overlook. The Town Planning Commission really wants to make that fence and the overlook as secure as possible. And so we're looking at a heavy duty steel fence there. This is, at where Mary was mentioning the old highway, state highway that used to go across a bridge, but now just stops at this overlook area. And so that heavy duty fencing will be steel and is running about $230 per linear foot. It will be just about 42 inches high. So it will be, if you will, ADA compliant fencing. So the trail leading up to that and leading up to the signs and the kiosks will all be ADA. So there's no cash needed from the town. Highway crews will help clear the invasives once they're identified. We're going to move
and volunteers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna move the Daughters of American Revolution watering trough that's hidden now in the trees by Business Route 4. We'll move that into the park and we'll expand the parking lot there off Simons. So so there's town highway crew time there. We'll need some grant administration time. And Cedar is pledging, if you will, $3,000 in promotional work and marketing work for this park. Once it's, you know, once it's ready.
Can we
to-
count that? Can we count that as in time, in
Oh,
kind?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Excellent. All right.
So yeah, so that's how it's shaping up. And you know, the application is complicated. We'll get it done. We'll get it in there. It is competitive. But I think that $50,000 up to, it's about $48,000 now, could be well spent, and the town will be putting nothing into that. So hopefully all you folks agree. And you know, if there are other things that people want in this park, we can do that later for sure.
Okay. Any questions for Barbara? Mike Rowe worked on that application as well. So, yep. Because it will be a rec area. Mike will be, assuming the budget passes, Mike will be our rec director, and that will be one of 3 parks then under the town's jurisdiction, under Mike's jurisdiction. Okay, any questions? All righty. Any questions for Barbara? I think that's it.
Did I put everybody
Thank you
to
very
sleep?
much.
Is everybody asleep now or what?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. This is,
All
we were
right.
just dealing with very large numbers for the public safety building, and this 49,000 is like, yeah, well, okay. So we're good. We're
Right.
good.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Is Larry Delvinary on, transfer station manager? Okay. And Bill Sweet, town,
Bill's not here either.
Yeah.
somebody wake him up.
Enough.
Evening.
Good evening.
All right. So we've got a few things to go through still. Not too bad. In your packets, something that I've seen on the radar and we really couldn't cover it at the school, so we got to do it tonight. Number 2 in your packets is information from the Vermont Ethics Commission. There are a few things that we have to do, and one of them tonight is to appoint an ethics liaison to the state. That is step 1.
I will say that I went on, there's a little, select board members are supposed to take this, so I did. It's a 45-minute video. We're doing stuff right as we do things, and we recuse ourselves and all of that. So it's pretty much just what we're already doing, which is reassuring, but we should take the video. It's not that bad, and it does remind us that we need to avoid conflicts of interest. That's kind of the bottom line on the thing.
Bill, can you send us this in an email so we have the live link to
Yeah,
get the training?
Yes. Oh, for the yes, I got.
Ethics Commission
that's
at
no problem.
Vermont. I was able to find it with not really any trouble.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Okay,
Stay tuned
so
for more.
first
Yes,
is,
absolutely.
who do we want as the ethics liaison from Rutland Town to the State Ethics Commission?
Sounds like a job for Bill.
Ed, you want it?
This, as I was going through this, it was, yeah, I think, well, I don't know.
They're just looking, it sounded like they were looking for an employee that they could send correspondence through, and
Yeah.
Bill's kind of our point of contact for disseminating information to the,
Is that a motion?
that's a motion.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded to authorize Bill Sweet to act as our Ethics Commission liaison.
there's some reason why that shouldn't be the case, Bill. Now's the
Oh,
opportunity for.
It's not a desire, it's a time. So I don't know what's gonna take, but there's a lot going on. So it just is. So there's gonna be more, this is gonna involve more meetings later on. So it's whoever does it is gonna be obligated to some of the meetings, which is
Well,
fine, but
you've been voted in.
yeah.
Well, not yet. We're about to.
Or
vote.
almost.
almost.
Okay, all in favor of Bill as our ethics liaison, please say aye.
Alright,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, thank you. And
On your desks, I had some other information regarding this. There's a few things that also need to get done. So step one, so it's on there, you have X 171 preparation checklist for municipalities. So we have now completed step one. We have to post a copy of the municipal code of ethics and any of our specific policies on our website. We will do that. I'm probably gonna have to create a separate page for it, but that's not a huge deal.
is this our municipal code of ethics?
We don't have one. So that's conflict of interest.
Okay.
We don't have a code of ethics policy. So we have to have a complaint investigation ordinance, rule, policy, or procedure. If we don't have one, we have to adopt, we must adopt one. There are some, they're not really some sample policies, but there are sample complaint forms, which I gave you a copy of. That's for someone to fill out. That's just as that is provided as an example. So what we have to do, we have to come up with a complaint investigation something or other.
But the code is the code, right? There's no just like that. That's done
that
for
is
us.
chapter 60. So it's 22, it's section 2224 VSA chapter 60. So that's you also have a copy of that on your desk. I think the definitions are a page and a half of the whole thing. But it talks about conflicts of interest and prohibited conduct. So that's what will get posted. But again, it's like Mary said, it's a reminder about how things are supposed to go. So we will need to formally adopt some of these things. The league put out a bunch of information, but no model policy. I know all the things about model policies on they don't have for us. So
does the commission have a model policy?
no,
That would be too helpful.
It would be.
Really simple. You just make rules and then throw you to the wolves.
Yeah,
yeah.
Pretty normal.
well, let's put pressure on the league to
Otherwise
provide a model.
violates municipal code of
I'll
ethics.
see if they have anything. And then it says, so encourage all municipal officers to take the free online training. It's required for members of legislative bodies, quasi judicial bodies, chief administrative officers, mayors, town managers, city managers. However, recommend all municipal officers subject to the statewide municipal code of ethics take the training. So that would broadly apply to most people in the town. So it's maybe that's part of our policy is that we say who does the training, but we're gonna need to do that. So I have not done it yet, but I certainly will. But yeah, it's
So
painless.
it's basically
yeah, it's
you, Kari, and us, right?
initially, it may be some more depending upon it. Maybe Susan and Deborah too, but it just depends upon.
The planning commission, because they occasionally do subdivision.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
there's different things. So it's
Well, BCA. I don't know.
BCA, yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
So municipal officer or officer means, and it gives a list, but there's treasurer, road commissioner, planning commission members,
Yeah.
moderators. Oh, you're in now. Lister or assessor, first constable, department heads, collector, delinquent taxes, clerk. It's
That's
everybody.
All,
Like
that's all. of
Pretty
them.
much
Just
everybody.
about
cemetery
everybody.
commissioners, you gotta take it twice.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
So
but
do
it's
we have
everybody.
a big party some night? and
You know, I
Have a
was,
big
the
have a
ideal-
big movie watch, and we'll
You
put
know,
it up
that
on the
would be,
screen.
Yeah.
to me, that would be the best way to do this.
yes.
I'll bring the beer.
Swim.
Yeah.
Swim in.
You're supposed to focus on.
Hey,
the-
I didn't see that in the ethics thing anywhere about
I
not
know.
being able to have beer while watching
We
it.
have a
Alright?
prohibition on beer on town property.
Yeah, sure.
But
But
that
I
would be,
like the
It may be the
idea.
most effective way to do it is
I
just
like
right.
the idea.
bring everybody all together and.
either here.
Yeah.
Can
Get
we
her
do
done.
that at the, we can do it here. I was just thinking,
Fire
there's
station.
the center station
Center.
is set
Center
up,
station.
we could do it there better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
We can
thinking
do it there.
Folsom's down there have the little movie theater with nice couches. You got Maple Angus, grab a burger, grab some beer.
Just stay away.
You're supposed to be
Grab some beer, or a
paying
lot of
some
beer.
attention.
Yes. It's only 45 minutes. So
45 minutes. But that would be the way to do this.
I
I
think
think
that's yeah.
if we could schedule a
Yeah.
night, meeting night, anybody in the town employ
Yeah.
that, and it looks like it's everybody. If you
Yeah.
interact with anybody, you do anything, or you gotta take this, and we just set it up at a.
it's pretty much everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
just go do
So
it.
when I did not do the registry. So when you, because I got an email that you taken it.
Yes.
So
I didn't get an email confirming that I'd taken it,
Okay,
but that's
well,
why
I
I
did.
put you on to make
Yeah.
sure. Yes.
so when you did your information, did you have to put it individually or did you have to like certify at the end like I took it? Because if we all do it in the same room together, we can't all
Oh.
put in everybody's name at the same time.
Oh. I
Right.
did it individually.
Okay.
Call 'em.
There might
You're
be
the
a-
new liaison. Figure it out.
Yeah.
There might be a way that
Yeah,
if this is the
yes,
state
ask them if they-
providing it,
Ask the
that-
commission, because they said, call us anytime. So
Okay.
call
You
them
know,
and say, we want to do a
we
group
wanna
employee."
organize a.
And they said anytime, so
Yeah.
midnight
Yeah,
tonight.
Yeah,
you know.
fire it off.
But the thing is
Big call
this
now.
is a proactive approach
Yeah.
to get everybody to do it,
It
because
is.
I can pretty much tell you, unless you drag me in kicking and screaming, I'm probably not getting there for a while.
You're gonna bait me with food if not beer. So
And that's
who's
fair.
catering this?
That's fair.
I couldn't do that.
Are you sure you want to cater that much? We
I
just
don't know,
get
maybe Sharon and I could do a.
There we are.
something.
Well,
Yeah.
just get Josh
Yeah.
get Josh Butler
Spaghetti
to
and
do it.
meatballs, how's that?
Okay,
And an
It
antipasto.
might
All
be
right, well,
fun
I
to
will-
do something fun.
it would
For
be
a
fun.
change?
Yeah.
Would be.
Because there are
Some
people
of the
that
things
don't
we do all the
I
time.
will start
Fight
by
over
finding
money.
out if there's a method to do it
A group.
as a group.
Yeah.
And we may not be able to do all at once, but if we can do them in groups, then maybe we can do that too. So
Everybody's
Um,
gonna hate me now because I brought this up.
I
Now
will-
listen,
No,
Mary and
no,
I are
it's
not
not.
doing
It
this.
wasn't
I
me.
think it's a great.
The party
That's
idea
out.
was yours. Yeah,
Right, Mary?
Pardon?
We are not doing 8 separate meals.
we are not. We're
But we
doing
had
one.
we had Kamuta's cater our fire department meeting and it was excellent.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
there's always
So are
that.
you putting down my
we've got
food,
that,
are you?
maybe
Not at
Angus,
all.
there's lots of-
Not at all, but
Lots of-
The
yeah,
last
it's
time
fun.
you
It's
had a
less,
whoopie
it's
pie.
workless for
Right
you.
across the street.
That's
Zero
up-
work.
I'm
Zero work.
fine with me.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I will report back when there's more information to report back. Next, in your packet, number 3, I received the results, the sewer usage results. You won't talk about as much as we used to, Joe. You noticed that, right? Like, we're getting better about this. For 2024, and went through and matched everybody's usage together and came out with 3 properties that exceeded their allocation for last year. And those are the ones, as you look at this, that are highlighted in red. And actually, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. Maybe 4. Oh, the Juster one, we're not, is, yeah. So there's letters here. There's 3 letters. It's to Tractor Supply, BMF Detailing, and AEJ Rutland, which is the Home Depot Plaza. Alderman's is not over there. There's part of a shared allocation with another building. So it
Right.
just, yeah.
Remember
So,
that.
but this is our master list. This is all of 2024 usage. We have 199,413 gallons left to allocate. And we used 313,000 gallons a day less than we were allocated. We've allocated out. So we are in very good shape,
Good.
both sides of this.
Good.
We bump our allocation up for the public safety building for our own.
We,
Probably will have to.
I think we'll probably have to, but we can do that. We don't have to buy allocation from ourselves. It just is what it is. So,
Right.
Okay.
this-
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure it into the,
yes, it is factored into the total,
we don't have to go after ourselves to increase it. So fortunately. So there are 3 letters here. And if there's no objection, those will go out in the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't have to authorize them because it's.
No,
all-
it's
you're
just
the-
that's where they are. So
None of them are grossly out of.
not terrible. One is 18. It's 18 gallons a day for one. It's 144 for another, and it's 8
Each
for a
for
third,
another,
because that's went
yeah.
from a 0 usage to a actually occupied building. So
Okay.
yeah. So that is that was and number 4, Mary, it's what you asked to go in, the
Yes,
memorial
indeedy.
door.
Yes, indeed. There is a door circulating in Rutland County. It is a Thank You Jimmy Carter Memorial Door. It's not a fundraiser. It's just a recognition. It's being done by Habitat of Humanity, or Habitat for Humanity, because Jimmy Carter was, of course, spent so many years after he was president working for that organization. The idea is it visits town halls. It has been in the city. It's been in West Rutland. If we give permission, it will make a stop here, and people can sign it just with a message to thank you, Jimmy Carter. So any objection to having this come visit Rutland, our town hall? Okay, is there a motion?
By motion.
I don't know if we need to do it by motion. Yeah, no?
Just
Okay, we'll just have them come
put
visit.
the thing in there.
Okay,
Do you know how to get a hold of the person?
I do.
Okay, then
Actually,
excellent.
call.
Because I don't.
Rachel.
That one's all yours.
All right,
All right. Next, number 5 is the current budget status sheets
yes,
Oh, I know.
Halfway through the year.
for your
yeah.
viewing pleasure. That's all of the things in the packet, and then a couple of things left on your desk. We received today the letter for us to request reimbursement on the latest quarter of the grant for the Route 7 North sidewalk. So Mary, you have an original in the folder there. Invoices, there was 2 invoices, one we paid back in October, and one we got today. And that's the October one was the contractor invoice for a lot of their work. And then the one today was for the Regional Planning Commission for Stephanie's work. Total 14,915.93 minus what we'll contribute. And so we're requesting 11,932 back from the state.
There's more information here attached
There's a
to
lot if you
the
want to see
main
it.
thing. So if anybody wants more details, it's right here.
The details of all the invoices.
And,
There's a whole lot of
Yep.
red tape.
oh, you
goes
betcha.
with this.
Federal grants, or at least I think I still do federal grants. Hard to tell. Is there a motion? And there's only one signature.
Move to approve and authorize the board to sign.
Second,
Motion's made and seconded. For 14,915, this is a reimbursement grant?
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
okay.
We put the
Any
money out.
discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. And you also the minutes from the personnel committee meeting from
Oh, yeah.
yesterday.
Oh,
And the town report did get to the printer. They have confirmed receipt of it. And Monday, I got an email from the supervisory union saying we had a page that was wrong. Can we change it? We got it changed before they printed the proof, so there's no additional cost to us, likely. But that had to happen very quickly, and
Good job.
yes.
so the town report was in the room and then it was gone. It is all done. Everything was verified, and we should have the proof probably this week, maybe beginning of next week. So but it'll be out definitely in time. So
Good.
The date on the outside of it.
yes,
Okay.
that was like 3 years ago.
Just gotta double check.
That was like 3 years ago.
I wrote it online what you're.
Thank you very much, Bill. Good effort. So the personnel committee met, was it yesterday?
It was.
it was.
Hey. And, well, I'll let Matt make the announcement.
We finished the policy again.
for now.
For now. Well, you're getting it next. So. Sometime, hopefully soon, you'll have a copy to review. And then we'll have Teresa in to talk to the whole board about all the questions you will have, because you will have read it thoroughly.
Are you guys happy with what you
We're-
worked on, put together, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a couple of policy questions and, you know, and we may very well say, okay, you guys need to make this decision because we didn't want to, but here it is. So, and you can probably guess which ones it may be, so.
Do you have the audiobook version? So I can listen to it.
But in a comfy chair with a beer, come on.
Well, you guys put a lot of time and effort into a rather, what I guess would call a dull subject.
Were
Not
there
dull, but
raised, there
it's
weren't
a
any raised
necessary-
voices on this, were there?
It's almost a
Just
no-win
aggravating.
necessary subject, right?
I know, it is,
But if you have it in place, at least you got some place to start.
yes, yes. So you'll be seeing it in your, I don't know, it's a fairly hefty version, so I don't know how we're gonna send it. It might be, you're gonna
Put
get
them
it
on the desk. Just put 'em on-
electronically.
just do them, put them on, if you're gonna print them, just leave them on the desk.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
That's
I
fine.
don't want a hard copy.
yeah, no,
The hard copy is good, because when you get so far and you fall asleep, you can mark your page and just. start up again.
okay.
You try to sit down and read it cover to cover, even though you lived it for
We-
2 years?
We walked through it in, well, Monday, we went cover to cover and I found myself going, we got that, we got. So, all right. We do have a thank you note. This is very nice too. Rutland Town Select Board. Mary Jo, Sharon, Kurt, and Matt. Also Barbara and the Planning Commission and Bill Sweet. Thanks for everything. Your thoughtfulness means so much more than words can ever say. A special thanks go out to you and Kari and Sue and Deb for all the support and care that you folks emulate so well. For as long as we have lived in the town, you have done extremely well in working with the best interests of all in mind. God bless and best wishes, Jim Hall and Andy. So very nice. We should put that up on our board. Okay. Personnel Committee, we did our committee report. Any other committees met? Nope. Okay. Anything else, Bill? Did we do everything in the folder?
Yeah, just two things. Yeah, reimbursement request and the CAI
Minutes are
contract.
in there
so,
too.
Good.
Okay. Any other new items from anyone? Any new business? Remember, we still have executive session. We did committee meetings, budget planning. We've done the
This is
budget
complete.
planning. Project list is right there. And meet an executive session for a couple of personnel matters. And I think it's mostly personnel matters. Yeah, okay. Several, and we'll have Mike Rowe in for the first one. And yeah,
So move.
motion's been made to go into executive session for personnel matters. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.